Okay, our last question is question 3. And we have Maria is saving money to buy a new bicycle. She already has $10.50 saved, and she plans to save an additional $17.50 each week from her allowance. Carlos is also saving money from his allowance to buy a new bicycle as shown in the table below. X represents the number of weeks Carlos has saved money, and Y represents the amount of money saved. So this is a table of Carlos, and it tells us that X is the weeks, and Y is the amount saved. Okay? And then up at the top, we have Maria is saving for a new bicycle. She already has $10.50 saved, and she does an additional $17.50 each week. Okay? I'm going to show you 2 different ways that you can solve this problem. First one is by going through these questions. We can look at how much is Maria's account increasing each week. So increasing each week would be how much she's putting in to her account, and that is the $17.50. Every week she puts in an additional $17.50. And how much does Maria start with? Well, she already had $10.50 in her account. So she started with $10.50. It's increasing by $17.50 each week. What function would represent Maria's account? Remember, a function is y equals mx plus b, where m is the change and b is the start. So what's changing in Maria's account is she's putting in $17.50 every week, so m would be $17.50. And she starts with $10.50, so plus $10.50. So we have y equals 17.50x plus 10.50. Y equals $17.50 x plus $10.50. And we can do the same thing for Carlos. If we're looking at how much Carlos's account is increasing each week, so we're going to look at from one week to the next. From $13.75 to $28.75, we can find that by doing $28.75 minus $13.75, and we will get $15 is how much his is increasing by each week. And then how much does Carlos start with? Well, he starts with $13.75. So using this, we can write a function for Carlos's account as well. Y is going to be equal to the $15 that he's putting in every week times X, which is the number of weeks, plus the $13.75 that he started with. This would be a function for Carlos's account. Now the question we're trying to find is who will have the most money saved after 7 weeks? Here's our question down here. Who will have the most money saved after 7 weeks? So we need to know which part of this function represents the number of weeks. Well, the problem actually already tells us that. X is the number of weeks. So what we can do with that information is we can substitute in, if we're trying to find out 7 weeks, and weeks represents X, we can substitute in 7 for X into these functions. So for Maria's function, she had Y equals 1750x plus $10.50 that she started with. We can substitute in 7 for x here, and that would give me y equals $17.50 times 7 plus the $10.50 that she started with. You can put this into your calculator. $17.50 times the 7 weeks would be $122.50 plus the $10.50 that she started with. So $122.50 plus the $10.50 that she started with would give her a total of $133. And we can do the same thing for Carlos. Carlos's function was y equals 15x plus $13.75 because he puts in $15 every week and he started with $13.75. Substitute in 7 to the function. We're going to have y equals 15 times 7 plus 13.75. $15 per week times 7 weeks would give me 105 plus the $13.75 that he started with. So 105 plus 13.75 gives me $118.75. So Carlos has $118.75 after 7 weeks. Maria has $133 after 7 weeks. So we know that Maria has more. Maria will have more after 7 weeks. And we know that because she will have $133 while Carlos only has $118.75. Now this is not the only way that you could solve it. I'm going to show you another way using the tables. This way is helpful for us if we're trying to find really big numbers. But when you have a number like 7, 7 weeks is not that many to calculate. We can find that from the table. So if we look at Carlos's table, we found that every week he's putting in an additional $15. So every week, this amount is going up to 15. So if we just extend his table to 7 weeks, we can keep on adding 15 to the previous amount, and that'll give us how much is in his account each week. So if we're at $15.75 here, and I add 15, that will give me $73.75. Add 15 again, and that would give me $88.75. Add 15 again, that will give me $103.75. And one more time, this will give me that after 7 weeks, Carlos will have $118.75. Then we can do the same thing with Maria, except for with Maria, we don't have the table started for us. We will need to start the table ourselves. So after 0 weeks, we need to put in what she started with. That was $10.50. She started with $10.50, so that is what she has after 0 weeks. Then she puts in $17.50 each week, so every week this amount should be added by $17.50. So after 1 week, we would do $10.50 plus $17.50, and that would give us $28. In week 2, we take the $28 plus $17.50, and that would give us $45.50. Add $17.50 again, and that will give us $63. And we can continue this pattern until we get to 7 weeks. Looks like I actually didn't make the table big enough. Continue this pattern until we get to 7 weeks. So 63 plus 1750 is 80.50. Plus 1750 again is 98. Plus 1750 again is 115.50. And one last time, this will give us $133. So either way, we're going to get the same numbers. After 7 weeks, Carlos will have $118.75, and Maria will have $133. So either way, it will show us that Maria will have more money after the 7 weeks. And that is all you need to do for question 3.